Okay, so hello everyone. Very good morning to one and all, and thank you for joining. Okay, so let us start with the subject machine learning, and this subject I would be taking for the GATE as well as for the other competitive exams, and also for your interview and placement sessions, right? Because I know number of students know in branches such as AI, CSIT, बहुत सारे ऐसे बच्चे हैं कि मतलब they are actually they sit but they do not know the basics. कहीं ना कहीं वो basics पे जो है they get actually rejected, no? तो डेफिनेटली हम उसी की आज मतलब वील बी फोकसिंग ऑन दैट स्पेसिफिकली ऑन द कोर कॉन्सेप्ट्स एज वेल एज आई विल बी शोइंग द प्रोग्रामिंग पार्ट. ठीक है, तो let us start the session. Okay, and yeah, so firstly I'll just start with the introduction of machine learning with certain important instances that you must have seen, right? So I would just like to ask you कि guys, क्या आपने ये देखा है in while texting on दी व्हाट्सएप, आपने देखा है कि एक प्रिडिक्टिव टेक्स्ट आता है. आई होप सबने देखा होगा. जब भी वेन एवर यू टेक्स्ट समथिंग ऑन व्हाट्सएप, नो दैट प्रिडिक्शन कम्स नो जस्ट बिलो इट. ओके, अच्छा, और जैसे जैसे आप यूज करते हैं एंड आई मीन हाउ ईगरली एंड हाउ लॉन्ग नो यू यूज इट, नो तो टिल फॉर अ वेरी लॉन्ग टाइम इफ यू आर यूजिंग इट, द प्रिडिक्शन बिकम्स मच एंड मच बेटर. आई थिंक आपने शायद ये देखा होगा ये. अदरवाइज यू मस्ट हैव सीन दिस that emojis, no, if you can just draw the emoji, तो वो emoji बनाते ही क्या होता है कि that actually emoji is represented here. आप समझ रहे हैं मतलब this is also one of the features, right? अच्छा, अगर ये भी नहीं देखा तो I think this third one you must have seen it. Third one में क्या होता है कि for example आप YouTube पे कोई start करते हैं देखना वीडियो. For example you just start how to earn money, right? अच्छा, अब after seeing this how to earn money, those similar videos would be recommended. I hope आपने शायद ये चीज तो जरूर देखी होगी. Everyone must have seen this कि once you just enter, for example you just enter drama movies. Okay, drama movies आपने देखी for example, और horror movies देखा, तो after certain period of time those movies are actually recommended to you, है ना? I think ये तो सभी ने देखा होगा. अच्छा, and how does it happens? ठीक है, तो we'll talk about this. अच्छा, और you must have seen this instance that while talking to Siri, Cortana, Google now, या Alexa, I think Alexa तो सबने use किया होगा कि whenever you speak something like you say, okay Google, just play this song, how exactly it understands, no? How exactly the Alexa understands कि भाई he is asking that song only. Okay, मतलब I just want to say, intentionally or unintentionally, you are using machine learning on your daily basis. Okay, in your daily life, intentionally or unintentionally, you are using machine learning in daily basis. Okay, चलिए एक एग्जांपल और देखते हैं. आई थिंक ये तो सभी ने देखा होगा यार. अभी वी हैड अ मैच बिटवीन इंडिया पाकिस्तान और आईपीएल भी चल ही रहा था, तो आई थिंक यार ये तो आपने जरूर देखा होगा कि हियर एक विन प्रोबेबिलिटी करके आता है नीचे. आई होप आपने शायद देखा होगा कि हियर अ विन प्रोबेबिलिटी प्रिडिक्टर कम्स. ओके, वेयर दैट प्रिडिक्टर प्रिडिक्ट्स, आई मीन गेम स्टार्ट होने से पहले ही, before starting the game only, that predictor predicts कि what are the chances of winning India, what are the chances of winning Pakistan, right? And whenever Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma start hitting sixes, this win predictor gradually increases. तो how, I mean, before playing the match, how do this win predictor predicts that bhai India has winning chances of 69%, Pakistan has winning chance of 31%? How does win predictor uses what algorithm or what exactly win predictor uses? So basically, again, I would like to I tell you that intentionally or unintentionally you are using machine learning in your daily life. Okay, अच्छा, एक छोटा एग्जांपल आपको मैं और दे देता हूँ. फॉर एग्जांपल you must have you must have served Flipkart, Amazon, no? Flipkart, Amazon for your apparels, no? अब जैसे मान लीजिए आप क्या करते हैं, you just search t-shirt, right? You just search t-shirt. अच्छा, अब वही क्या होता है, बार बार वो क्या होता है, that t-shirt would be visible to you. मतलब वही recommendations आपके पास आते हैं, है ना? Whenever you search that t-shirt, no? तो what happens is कि बार बार जो है वही रिकमेंडेशंस जो है आपके पास आते रहते हैं। आई होप आपने शायद देखा होगा कि व्हेनेवर यू सर्च दैट टी शर्ट, होगा क्या, आफ्टर सर्टेन पीरियड ऑफ टाइम ना वही रिकमेंडेशंस आपके पास आ जाएंगे, है ना। अच्छा, तो वो रिकमेंडेशंस बेसिकली जो होते हैं, हाउ डिड रिकमेंडेशन कम्स टू यू, वो कैसे आता है। या जैसे मान लीजिए नेटफ्लिक्स पे गए आप, है ना, नेटफ्लिक्स पे गए, नेटफ्लिक्स पे आपने कोई हॉरर मूवी देखी, ठीक है, अब उसके जैसी ही मूवीज, मतलब द सिमिलर मूवीज वुड एक्चुअली बी प्रेडिक्टेड और वुड एक्चुअली बी रिकमेंडेड टू यू, और एक्चुअली वो मूवीज में आपको इंटरेस्ट भी होगा, बिकॉज योर टाइप इज ऑफ दैट, नो, आपका जो जेनर है, आपका जो टाइप है वो कुछ वैसे ही मूवीज का है, मतलब योर इंटरेस्ट इज ऑन सीइंग दो सिमिलर मूवीज। आप समझ रहे हैं यहाँ पे। तो बेसिकली आप कर क्या रहे हैं, यू आर यूजिंग सुपरवाइज्ड मशीन लर्निंग और अनसुपरवाइज्ड मशीन लर्निंग ऑन योर डेली बेसिस, इंटेंशनली और अनइंटेंशनली। तो ये क्या होता है, कुछ एल्गोरिथम्स होती हैं। अब जैसे अगर मैं इसकी बात करूं भाई, ये जो विन प्रेडिक्टर है कुछ भी नहीं है, एक मल्टीपल लीनियर रिग्रेशन मॉडल है, कुछ भी नहीं है। इट इज अ मल्टीपल लीनियर रिग्रेशन मॉडल जो कि मैच होने से पहले इट एनालाइजेस द प्रीवियस डेटा। मैच होने से पहले क्या करता है, इट एनालाइजेस द प्रीवियस डेटा कि इंडिया पाकिस्तान के बीच में क्या कौन कौन से मैच हुए थे, ओके, एंड इसमें ऑन दिस पिच, ऑन दिस एंड दिस एवरी आई मीन ऑन दिस दिस पिच विद दिस प्लेइंग 11 विद दिस बॉलर्स, ओके, विद दिस वेदर कंडीशंस, कि कौन मैच जीता था, ओके, और व्हाट वाज द विनिंग परसेंटेज ऑफ इंडिया व्हाइल वी प्लेड द मैच। तो बस उसी के बाद से क्या करते हैं, दे स्टार्ट एक्चुअली गिविंग द प्रेडिक्शन। तो बेसिकली ये 69% क्या है, दैट इज द आउटपुट ऑफ अ मल्टीपल लीनियर रिग्रेशन मॉडल, और कुछ भी नहीं है। दिस इज जस्ट एन आउटपुट ऑफ मल्टीपल लीनियर रिग्रेशन मॉडल। 69% एक आउटपुट है, व्हाट इज इट, 31% ये आउटपुट है, एंड that multiple linear regression model is on on actually, मतलब वो होता क्या है कि जैसे जैसे the data is added, नो, जैसे जैसे क्या होता है, डेटा ऐड होता रहता है, होता क्या है वहां पर कि यू स्टार्ट चेंजिंग द डेटा, मतलब स्टार्ट द डेटा स्टार्ट्स गेटिंग अपडेटेड, ओके, डेटा क्या करता है, स्टार्ट्स गेटिंग अपडेटेड, बस वो डेटा जैसी अपडेट हुआ, बस उसके बाद क्या होता है, दैट विन प्रोबेबिलिटी वो अपने आप क्या होता है वहां पर, वो अपने आप ऑटो मोड में आ जाता है, दैट मॉडल कम्स ऑन दी ऑटो मोड। बस वो जैसे डेटा चेंज होता रहेगा, आपका जो विन प्रेडिक्शन है, दिस आउटपुट वुड बी चेंज, एंड एट टाइम्स यू मस्ट हैव नोटिस्ड कि भाई ये बिल्कुल सही होता है, मतलब काफी बार जो है ये एक्यूरेट भी होता है। वंस इन अ ब्लू मून गलत होता है, बट एट टाइम्स दिस विन प्रेडिक्टर इज वेरी एक्यूरेट, ओके। तो हियर दिस इज व्हाट, दिस इज एन एग्जांपल ऑफ सुपरवाइज्ड लर्निंग। ये किसका एग्जांपल है, सुपरवाइज्ड लर्निंग का। मैं अभी डिस्कस करूंगा, एवरीथिंग आई विल बी डिस्कसिंग इन डिटेल, ठीक है। और जो ये रिकमेंडेशन जो सिस्टम हमने देखा था, ये जो यूट्यूब वाला जो एग्जांपल देखा था, दैट इज व्हाट, दैट इज एन एग्जांपल ऑफ अनसुपरवाइज्ड लर्निंग। आई विल डिस्कस दिस, नो वरीज, आई विल डिस्कस दिस, एक एक चीज डिस्कस होगी, दैट इज एन एग्जांपल ऑफ अनसुपरवाइज्ड लर्निंग। तो बेसिकली यहां पर हम क्या करते हैं, सिमिलैरिटी क्राइटेरियन को अपना बेसिस रख के, अपना रेफरेंस रख के, सिमिलैरिटी क्राइटेरियन को रेफरेंस रख के वी टेक द आउटपुट, ठीक है। और यहां पर क्या हुआ, हियर वी टेक द एल्गोरिथमिक, वी टेक द ट्रेनिंग ऑफ द एल्गोरिथम बेस्ड ऑन सर्टेन लेबल्स, और उसके बाद इसका आउटपुट निकालते हैं, विच कम्स अंडर व्हाट, सुपरवाइज्ड लर्निंग, ओके। तो बस फर्क इतना ही है कि यहां पर कहीं पे डेटा लेबल है, कहीं पे डेटा लेबल नहीं है, बट यस, all these things comes under machine learning. That is why machine learning जो है, that is a very important part, बहुत important part है, जो कि हर एग्जाम में, इन एवरी, फॉर एग्जाम्पल आप डेटा साइंटिस्ट का दे दो, आप डेटा एनालिस्ट का दे दो, इंजीनियर का दे दो, कहीं ना कहीं कुछ ना कुछ पोर्शन मशीन लर्निंग का होता ही है। अब आई जस्ट शो यू वन ऑफ द वेरी, आई मीन दैट इज माई एनालिसिस। मैं लिंक्डइन पे काफी जॉब्स अप्लाई करता रहता था, तो आई जस्ट सॉ दिस, तो एक बार मैं जरूर आपके साथ शेयर करना चाहूंगा। आप देखिए, ये हाई फ्रीक्वेंसी ट्रेडिंग कंपनी जितनी भी है, अब जैसे ये जो जेन स्ट्रीट है, डीई शॉ है, वर्ल्ड क्वांट एबिलिटी पोर्टफोलियो, इनका अगर आप देखो, इसमें स्किल्स रिक्वायर्ड में यू वुड बी फाइंडिंग machine learning there as one of the skills, okay। I'll just highlight this, yeah, I'll just highlight this, okay, correct। अब आप देखो यहां पे, here, तो यहां पर वी रिक्वायर दिस मशीन लर्निंग, ठीक है। ये मैंने कोई डाटा नहीं निकाला, आप लिंक्डइन पे खुद से निकाल सकते हो। मैं बहुत सारी यार जॉब अप्लाई करता रहता था पहले भी, और अभी भी कर ही रहा हूं। तो देयर आई सॉ कि मतलब ये जो कंपनीज है ना, और बहुत अच्छी कंपनीज है, दीज आर टॉप फैंग कंपनीज, बहुत अच्छी कंपनीज है। अगर आप देखो यहां पर कि ये जो डीई शॉ वगैरह है, स्किल्स रिक्वायर्ड में पाइथन होगा, C++, स्टैटिस्टिकल मॉडलिंग, फाइनेंस नॉलेज, और साथ में दे वुड राइट मशीन लर्निंग। आई थिंक सभी ने ये चीज देखी होगी। आप देखो टॉप फैंग कंपनीज में गूगल, मेटा, माइक्रोसॉफ्ट, मैं देखा था रोल सीनियर डेटा साइंटिस्ट का, एआईएमएल इंजीनियर का, प्रिंसिपल डेटा साइंटिस्ट। अब यहां पर देखो तो हियर ऑल्सो बेसिक्स ऑफ एआईएमएल वुड बी आस्क्ड, वहां पर आपसे कोडिंग करवाएगा, मगर आपसे ये भी पूछेगा बायस वेरिएंस ट्रेड ऑफ क्या होता है भैया, ओवरफिटिंग क्या होती है, मतलब एवरीथिंग, नो एवरी थ्योरेटिकल कॉन्सेप्ट वुड बी आस्क्ड। क्योंकि भाई अगर आप पैकेज देखो इसका, तो दिस पैकेज इज 60 लाख टू 1 CR आफ्टर स्पेंडिंग 10-12 ईयर्स। ठीक है, ये एकदम से नहीं मिलेगा आपको, 10 से 12 साल मेहनत कर दो। तो अभी का तो ट्रेंड यही है, ओके, टू बी वेरी फ्रैंक, अभी का तो ट्रेंड यही है, आप मेहनत कर दो तो 60 लाख तक, 50 लाख, 60 लाख एक्चुअली पीपल आर अर्निंग। देखो आगे का आने वाला 5-7 साल तो ऐसे प्रेडिक्ट नहीं कर सकते, बट अभी का ट्रेंड यही है कि अगर आप मेहनत कर दो तो 60 लाख तक का आपका बेस पैकेज और ऊपर से स्टॉक्स वगैरह मिल रहे हैं। तो मतलब दिस इज फॉर सीनियर डेटा साइंटिस्ट। वाइल एंटरिंग थोड़ा सा कम रहता है, आई अंडरस्टैंड, बट यस यहां पर मिल रहे हैं। अब आप देखो यूनिकॉर्न स्टार्टअप्स में, जैसे वेरी सर्टेन वेरी गुड यूनिकॉर्न, नो ओपन एआई, डीप माइंड, क्रेड, रेजर पे इनका, तो अब यहां पर जो एआई इंजीनियर की जो सैलरी है, चीफ डेटा साइंटिस्ट, हेड ऑफ द डेटा, तो देयर आल्सो एआई मॉडल डिप्लॉयमेंट, एमएल oops। तो व्हाट इज दिस एमएल oops? हियर आल्सो द बेसिक्स ऑफ मशीन लर्निंग वुड बी आस्क्ड, ओके। एंड पैकेज तो आप देख ही सकते हो यार, एंड दिस इज एक्चुअली ट्रू, मतलब मैंने कोई यहां पर कुछ भी, आई एम नॉट गिविंग यू फेक डेटा, आपको जरूरत पड़े जरूर देख लेना यार, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, आप लिंक्डइन पे चेक कर लेना, बट यस दिस इज एक्चुअली द ट्रूथ आफ्टर स्पेंडिंग 12 ईयर्स 15 ईयर्स इन इंडस्ट्री। ये उसके बाद आपको मिलता है 50 लाख 60 लाख, 10-12 साल मेहनत कर लो, उसके बाद आपको डेफिनेटली दिस इज देयर। फाइनेंस एंड कंसल्टिंग में मैकिन्स्की, बीसीजी, गोल्डमैन सैक्स, डेटा साइंस कंसल्टेंट, रिस्क एनालिटिक्स लीड, इस नाम से प्रोफाइल्स हैं जो कि आप सर्च भी कर सकते हो। और यहां पर भी देखो प्रिडिक्टिव एनालिटिक्स, दैट इज अगेन अ पार्ट ऑफ मशीन लर्निंग, ओके। तो विद सीक्वल, पाइथन, टैब्लू, यहां पर एक प्रिडिक्टिव एनालिटिक्स, अगेन दैट इज अ पार्ट ऑफ मशीन लर्निंग। पैकेज आप देख ही सकते हो 40 लाख से शुरू होता है, एंड एक्चुअली दिस इज ट्रू। आप एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप और फ्रीलांसिंग भी अगर करोगे, तो जैसे इंडिपेंडेंट एआई स्टार्टअप्स में अगर आप फ्रीलांस करते हो, देयर आल्सो दी पोजीशंस आर डेटा साइंस एंटरप्रेन्योर, एआई कंसल्टेंट, और यहां पर एआई प्रोडक्ट डेवलपमेंट में बिजनेस स्ट्रैटेजी और एमएल एआई इज वन ऑफ द स्किल्स दैट इज रिक्वायर्ड। ठीक है, और यहां पर भी अच्छा, मतलब फ्रीलांसर्स आर आल्सो अर्निंग वेरी गुड फॉर, आई मीन एट दिस स्टेज, ओके। तो दिस इज आई मीन द टाइम फॉर यू टू लर्न द बेसिक्स ऑफ मशीन लर्निंग। तो आई वुड रिक्वेस्ट भैया कुछ 15-20 A4 पेपर या फिर एक कॉपी आप लेके रखो। आई एम स्टार्टिंग विद ईच एंड एवरी एल्गोरिथम इन सुपरवाइज एंड अनसुपरवाइज लर्निंग। आप जरूर नोट बनाएंगे, डेली बेसिस पे क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करने में आपको दे दूंगा, पीडीएफ आई वुड बी अपलोडिंग, एवरीथिंग आई वुड बी अपलोडिंग, डेली बेसिस पे आप क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करोगे। और प्रोग्रामिंग वाला पार्ट आई वुड बी शोइंग यू, बट दैट वुड बी लेस, थ्योरेटिकल वाला पार्ट यहां पर थोड़ा सा मैं ज्यादा रखूंगा, क्योंकि प्रोग्रामिंग तो हर कोई कर ही रहा है ना। थ्योरेटिकल वाला एक ये ऐसी चीज है जहां पर आदमी जो है, यहां पर जो आपको खंगाल सकता है, एक्चुअली दे कैन एक्चुअली पुट यू प्रेशर, ओके, पुट प्रेशर ऑन यू, बिकॉज थ्योरेटिकल पार्ट जो होता है वो थोड़ा सा रिटेन करना इज बिट टफ, ओके। तो माई अप्रोच इज, आपको मुझे प्रिपेयर करना है गेट के लिए, प्लेसमेंट के लिए एंड इंटरव्यूज के लिए, ठीक है। चलो डन, okay, so yes, so these are certain data driven decision making across all the industries. So you can just see there are number of number of कंपनीज जो कि आती है, और मतलब इन सारी कंपनीज में डेटा ड्रिवन डिसीजन मेकिंग होती है ना। वी कैन स्टार्ट विद ऑटोमेशन इंडस्ट्री, ऑटोमोबाइल इंडस्ट्रीज हो गया, रोबोटिक्स में हो गया, एल्गोरिथमिक ट्रेडिंग यहाँ इंडिया में आजकल कम है, मगर एल्गोरिथमिक ट्रेडिंग वहाँ पर आई मीन दैट इज वेरी कॉमन वेयर इन अब्रॉड, ओवरसीज में एल्गोरिथमिक ट्रेडिंग बहुत कॉमन टर्म है। आप जरूर सर्च करिएगा, मैं झूठ नहीं कह रहा, आप सर्च करके देख लीजिएगा। तो वहाँ पर क्या करते हैं, दे एक्चुअली एक एल्गोरिथम, मतलब मशीन लर्निंग के एल्गोरिथम जो है, दे इंटीग्रेट दैट विद द बेसिक्स ऑफ द ट्रेडिंग पार्ट, बस। और उसके बाद जो है दे गिव यू रिकमेंडेशन कि भाई ये वाला स्टॉक तुमको लेना है, ये वाला स्टॉक तुमको नहीं लेना। तो दैट इज व्हाट एल्गोरिथमिक ट्रेडिंग इज। इंडिया में अभी धीरे evolve, but overseas no, this is very common, okay। Then yes, food industry हो गया, agriculture में, तो we have, अब agriculture में कोई बता सकता है, anyone who can comment in agriculture, क्या होता होगा agriculture में, where machine learning could be implemented, कहाँ पर होता होगा? Yes, I can see your comments on YouTube, yeah। अगर कोई कमेंट सेक्शन में करना चाहे, वेयर इन एग्रीकल्चर वी कैन यूज मशीन लर्निंग एल्गोरिथम्स, हियर एक्चुअली डीप लर्निंग कुड बी यूज्ड। अगर आई थिंक अगर आपने डीप लर्निंग का नाम सुना होगा, डीप लर्निंग एल्गोरिथम्स कैन बी यूज्ड हियर, ओके। डीप लर्निंग एल्गोरिथम्स जहां पे एक्चुअली यूजिंग द कैमरा दे कैन प्रिडिक्ट नो वेयर आई हैव टू स्प्रे, वेयर आई डू नॉट हैव टू। तो मतलब दिस इज ऑल, नो, दिस इज ऑल दैट कैन बी डन, करेक्ट। क्वालिटी ऑफ क्रॉप्स, यस, न्यूज बस्टर, करेक्ट भाई, क्वालिटी ऑफ क्रॉप्स के लिए तो डीप लर्निंग एल्गोरिथम कम्स। तो अब अगर यहां तक बात आ ही गई है, तो आई कैन जस्ट शो यू हियर, या तो अगर आपने क्वालिटी ऑफ क्रॉप्स की बात करी दी है, तो अगर यहां अब एक बार फटाफट डेफिनेशन देख लेते हैं, एंड दिस ग्राफ इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर यू। ओके, तो देखो, व्हाट इज मशीन लर्निंग? इट इज अ सबसेट ऑफ आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस दैट enables computers to learn from data without explicit programming. Very very important, without explicit programming. Okay, and it involves using algorithms to analyze data, identify patterns and make predictions or decisions. And this is the graph. AI है सबका बाप। ओके, AI जो है दैट इज सबका बाप, उसके अंदर वी हैव मशीन लर्निंग। ओके, उसके अंदर वी हैव मशीन लर्निंग। करेक्ट, यस, पीएच वैल्यू वेरी गुड, पेस्टिसाइड स्प्रेइंग वेरी गुड, या टू हैंडल ड्रोन्स वेरी गुड, बढ़िया बढ़िया भाई, ठीक है, डन। तो AI के अंदर आता है मशीन लर्निंग, एंड उसके अंदर एक है डीप लर्निंग, जहां पर वीडियोस और इमेजेस पे काम होता है। ओके, हियर वी हैव डीप लर्निंग वेयर द वर्क इज डन ऑन वीडियोस एंड इमेजेस इन डीप लर्निंग, एंड मशीन लर्निंग कैन डील विद टेक्सचुअल डेटा also. Okay, so that is the major difference that differentiates machine learning with deep learning. Okay, I'll wait for a minute. If anyone wants to write, please write it, है ना? I request everyone कि बेटा आप लोग जो है A4 पेजेस ले आओ, स्टेपल कर लो और साथ साथ मेरे साथ लिखो इसको। I request everyone. Okay. Okay, so you just write it. Machine learning, it is a subset of AI that enables computers to learn from data without explicit programming. मतलब सिर्फ if else rule यहाँ पर नहीं लगना। Okay, only if else rules cannot be would not be required here। मतलब only if else rules से बहुत ऊपर है machine learning, because यहाँ पर एक word आता है that is training। तो I'll be just focusing on this word training। okay, क्योंकि ये जो explicit programming is we generally use loops, if else rules, उससे बहुत ऊंची चीज है machine learning। why? because here data is trained। जो ट्रेनिंग होती है ना, दैट एक्चुअली इज डन बेस्ड ऑन अ सर्टेन एल्गोरिथम। ओके, और वहां पर पैटर्न्स वगैरह आइडेंटिफाई होते हैं। तो ट्रेनिंग इज मच मोर अबव देन आई मीन यूजिंग ओनली सर्टेन इफ एल्स रूल्स। ओके, यस। अब रिक्वायरमेंट ऑफ डीप लर्निंग, बेसिकली डीप लर्निंग व्हेन इट कम्स, अब जैसे आपने, मैं छोटा सा आपको एग्जांपल देता हूं। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, यू वॉन्ट टू बाय अ टी शर्ट, ठीक है, आपको एक टी शर्ट लेना है, तो वॉट यू वुड डू, दो तरीके हैं। या तो आप Amazon पे जाओगे, फ्लिपकार्ट पे जाओगे, एंड यू वुड राइट आई वॉन्ट टू बाय अ ब्लैक टी शर्ट विदाउट कॉलर अंडर 500 विद गुड क्वालिटी कॉटन मटीरियल। ओके, नहीं तो दूसरी चीज आप क्या कर सकते हो, यू कैन जस्ट टेक अ स्नैपशॉट ऑफ एनी ब्लैक टी शर्ट और एनी इमेज दैट यू हैव इन द गैलरी। उसको आप गूगल लेंस से लिया और आपने उसको पोस्ट कर दिया गूगल पे। ओके, तो अगर आप सेकंड वाला मेथड यूज करते हो, इफ यू आर यूजिंग द सेकंड मेथड, यू जस्ट टुक अ स्नैपशॉट ऑफ इमेज of t-shirt, just you posted that using a Google lens, तो अब वहां पर होगा क्या, there that t-shirt would be posted, so there actually the first role would be of the CNN, okay, convolution neural network, that actually would be identifying कि भाई इसने कर क्या रखा है पोस्ट। तो वो क्या करेगा, वो धीरे धीरे क्या करेगा, he would try to identify, अच्छा इसके यहाँ पर इसके स्लीव्स है, हाफ स्लीव है, तो थोड़ा बहुत टी शर्ट से सिमिलर है। अच्छा, कॉलर नहीं है और राउंड नेक है, तो थोड़ा बहुत राउंड नेक टी शर्ट से सिमिलर है। ओके, तो दैट एक्चुअली कम्स अंडर द टॉपिक डीप learning, where we actually play with images and videos. Okay, Newsbuster, I hope beta this is clear. So that is actually the role of deep learning. That deep learning we won't be touching, for very sure I won't be touching it, yes, but I would be starting with AI, I would be starting with machine learning. Okay, and the basics of CNN I would be touching in the end, right? The basics of CNN I would be touching in the end. Okay, चलिए, तो दिस इज द मशीन लर्निंग सिलेबस जो कि गेट वालों ने दे रखा है। दैट इज द सिलेबस जो कि गेट वालों ने दे रखा है, और मैंने इसी को व्हाट आई हैव डन इज, और इसी को मैंने यहां पर थोड़ा सा एक अच्छे तरीके से मैंने आपको यहां पर प्रेजेंट कर दिया। ओके, इन अ वेरी सॉर्टेड फॉर्म आई हैव प्रेजेंटेड हियर। ओके, तो आई वुड बी स्टार्टिंग विद रिग्रेशन एंड क्लासिफिकेशन इंट्रोडक्शन, सिंपल लीनियर रिग्रेशन, मल्टीपल लीनियर रिग्रेशन, रिज के साथ मैं लासो भी कवर कर लूंगा। ओके, तो इफ यू वांट यू कैन जस्ट टेक अ स्नैपशॉट, नहीं तो छोड़ भी सकते हैं। ओके, या Then logistic regression I would be covering, KNN method, naive based classifier, LDA मैं करूंगा. Then support vector machine, उसके बाद decision tree and साथ में random forest. Okay, decision tree and साथ में I would be covering random forest. Then bias variance trade off, cross validation में दो तरीके हैं. We have two important methods that is there in the syllabus. एक तो LOO और K-fold cross validation. बहुत ही अच्छा मेथड है K-fold cross validation. ओके, बहुत ही बढ़िया मेथड है K-fold cross validation. इसको कवर करेंगे. मल्टी लेयर परसेप्ट्रॉन फीड फॉरवर्ड न्यूरल नेटवर्क. And in the unsupervised learning, I would be starting with clustering algorithms. Clustering algorithms में we would be covering 3 algorithms. तो first is K-means algorithm. Okay, K-means आ जाएगा, K-medoid algorithm आ जाएगा and K-means plus plus. Okay, तो these algorithms I would be covering. Apart from this, I would be focusing on hierarchical clustering where top to bottom and bottom to top, okay, with single linkage and multiple linkage. And in the last, the dimensionality reduction में we would be covering principal component analysis, one of the very important thing. Okay, तो ये जो रहेगा मेरा यहाँ पर रहेगा in 10 days I would be covering. Okay, तो अगर I am working 50%, you also have to work 50%. बस यही मेरा क्लास का आपको मोटो रहेगा कि अगर मैं मेहनत कर रहा हूँ बच्चा, आपको भी मेहनत करनी है. बस एक बार ये मेरे साथ कर लो, 10 दिन की बात है, मशीन लर्निंग के बेसिक्स बहुत क्लियर हो जाएंगे. ठीक है, इफ यू वांट प्लीज नोट इट डाउन, नहीं तो हम आगे चलते हैं. हाँ, यस, डीप लर्निंग में हम सिर्फ पढ़ेंगे आर्टिफिशियल न्यूरल नेटवर्क. करेक्ट अमन, डीप लर्निंग में वी वुड बी स्टडिंग आर्टिफिशियल न्यूरल नेटवर्क और CNN का बेसिक्स कर दूंगा, है ना. आई वुड बी कवरिंग CNN बेसिक्स, दैट इज माय प्रॉमिस. चलो डन है भाई. अब इसके बाद आई विल स्टार्ट मशीन लर्निंग. एवरी मशीन लर्निंग मॉडल, ओके, एवरी मशीन लर्निंग मॉडल हैज 3 phases. ओके, एवरी मशीन लर्निंग मॉडल हैज 3 phases. ओके, तो जब भी आप मशीन लर्निंग मॉडल को यूज करोगे उसके हमेशा 3 फेज होते हैं. द फर्स्ट फेज इज ट्रेनिंग फेज. ओके, द फर्स्ट फेज इज ट्रेनिंग फेज. द सेकेंड फेज इज testing phase. Okay, the second phase is testing phase and the third phase is evaluation phase. Okay, the third phase is evaluation phase. So firstly model is trained, right? Then model is tested and in the end model is evaluated. Okay, in the end model is evaluated. तो आप ये साथ साथ बनाते रहिएगा. ओके, आई विल बी जस्ट राइटिंग द इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट्स हियर और फिर उसके बाद वी वुड बी starting with certain numericals. Okay, yeah, okay, sure, yeah, I'll be teaching in English, no worries. Yeah, okay, so we have 3 phases, right? Okay, so as I told you, machine learning, every machine learning model has 3 phases. The first one is training phase, the second one is testing phase and the third one is evaluation. Okay, अच्छा, अब what exactly model training means? तो model is trained, so here you can write that model is trained. Okay, model is trained using a historical data. Okay, model is trained using a historical data. ठीक है, हिस्टोरिकल डेटा को यूज करके वी यूज हिस्टोरिकल डेटा टू ट्रेन द मॉडल. ओके, अच्छा, अब while training the model we use certain algorithms, okay, to identify the patterns. Okay, we use certain algorithms to identify the patterns, right? So here algorithms are used. Okay, algorithms are used to identify the pattern. Okay, identify the pattern. Then while testing basically what happens is that model or machine is tested, okay, to make the prediction. Here मॉडल इज टेस्टेड. ओके, मॉडल जो आपने मॉडल यहां पर बनाया, ओके, तो हियर मॉडल डेवलपमेंट टेक्स प्लेस. तो आई राइट हियर, या आई राइट हियर मॉडल डेवलपमेंट टेक प्लेस. ओके, मॉडल डेवलपमेंट टेक प्लेस हियर, मॉडल डेवलपमेंट टेक्स प्लेस, राइट. अच्छा, अब नाउ द मॉडल दैट हैज बीन made here, now model is tested here. Okay, model is tested on the test data. Okay, model is tested on the test data. So standard industry practice is that 70% data is used, 70% data is used, 70% data is used for training. Okay, and standard industry practices, and 30% data that is used for, that is used for testing. Okay, this is the industry practice. Okay, so 70% data is used for training and 30% data that is used for testing. Okay, but this may vary. Okay, this may vary, that is not for sure ki matlab this may vary, 80-20 may come, 90-10 may come, that depends. Okay, but yes, 70-30 is used. Okay, acha, ab since I said model is tested on the test data, so here prediction is made, right. So here prediction is made, right. Here prediction is made, okay, on the test data. Okay, prediction is made on the test data. Okay, and in the evaluation phase the model's accuracy is checked on the unseen data. Okay, model's accuracy, or models, I would write models performance is evaluated. Okay, so in the last phase the model's performance is evaluated. So every machine learning model has these three phases. Okay, every machine learning model has these three phases, where it starts with training of the data, then testing of the data, and evaluation of the data. Okay, and evaluation of the data. Ab I would just give you an example. For example, you had for example, a match is going to be played between India and Pakistan. A match is going to be played between India and Pakistan. तो भाई यहाँ पर जो ये 69% 31% जो है, ये जो डेटा आप देख रहे हैं, that is what, that is the prediction that has already been made on the previous data. Based on the previous data, there is no unseen data. Based on the previous data, this prediction has already been made before starting the match. मैच शुरू होने से पहले ही this prediction has been made on the previous data. अब now as unseen data would come, जैसे for example रोहित शर्मा hit 6, okay, विराट कोहली hit 6. As unseen data is coming, okay, as unseen data is coming, then prediction would change. So that is what, that is basically the testing phase. Okay, that is basically what, that is basically the testing phase. Or what is evaluation? After the match, who won the match, that would give us ki how well this prediction model gave us the prediction. So that is the evaluation phase after the match results are already out. Okay, whether India won or Pakistan won. So for example, India won the match, so then this prediction results would be evaluated. So that is known as the evaluation phase. Okay, so every machine learning model has these three phases. The first one is first one is training, then testing, and model's performance is evaluated. Okay, so you can just write it. Yeah. So in the evaluation phase, we generally calculate error. Okay, in the evaluation phase, we generally calculate error. Error is calculated. Okay, error is evaluated. Okay, we generally evaluate error. Error is evaluated. Okay, error is evaluated. So every time, in every model, you would be actually finding these three phases. Okay, I'll wait for a minute, bacha, please write it. Okay, chalo. Now let's move. Yes. Yeah, lucky I'll be covering beta in 10 days. Definitely, I'll be covering the entire syllabus. That is my duty. I'll take class for 3 hours, 4 hours. No, yeah, I'll be covering this. Okay. So in 10 to 12 days, that is my promise. I'll be covering the entire machine learning syllabus. Okay. So yeah. So you just work hard with me. I'll work hard with you. I think we'll get a fruitful result. Okay. Done. Chalo. Done hai. Okay, so now I'll start with the types of machine learning algorithms. So the machine learning algorithms start with supervised learning and unsupervised learning. So these two algorithms we would be covering. So we have three types. Broadly, machine learning can be classified into three types. The first one is supervised, unsupervised, and the last one is reinforcement learning. Okay, the last one is reinforcement learning. This is not there in the syllabus, but highly utilized in the robotics. Those who have interest in robotics know this reinforcement learning is highly utilized there. Okay, yeah. So we have supervised learning, unsupervised learning. Okay, so now let us see the difference between supervised learning and unsupervised learning. Okay, so I'll be firstly focusing on supervised learning. So in the supervised learning, no, what happens is data is labeled. Okay, in the supervised learning, what happens is no, data is labeled. Ab dekho, data labeling. What exactly data labeling means? Data labeling is that, for example, you want to train a model. है ना, आपको if you want to train a model, तो there exactly you have labeled the data in the input data set. You have labeled the data that this shape is hexagon, this shape is square, okay, this shape is triangle. Okay, so after training of the model, when it comes to the prediction phase and when you show these shapes in the test data, so basically the data set already knows, the model already knows if this shape comes, so that is a square. Okay, if this shape comes, that is a triangle. Okay, तो basically that is known as supervised learning. Okay, इसको हम क्या बोलते हैं? This is known as supervised learning. तो what exactly supervised learning is? Where data is labeled. Okay, so now I'll just give you a very good example. जैसे for example, yeah, I'll just give you a very good example. Okay, for example, okay, so yes, in the supervised learning I'll give you an example. जैसे मान लीजिए कि you want to buy a black t-shirt. Okay, you want to buy a black t-shirt. Okay, so you would go to Flipkart. Okay, for example, you would go to Flipkart and what you would type? You would type that I want to buy a black t-shirt. Okay, I want to buy a black t-shirt which should not have collars. Okay, which should not have collars. Okay, and it should be under 500 rupees. Okay, it should be under 500 rupees and the material should be cotton. Okay, and good quality. Okay, that stuff should be good quality, right? The stuff should be good quality. Okay, so this is one of the things that comes under supervised learning. I'll be discussing the difference. Okay, acha, now let us focus on unsupervised learning. Okay, now let us focus on unsupervised learning. So basically what unsupervised learning is, that in a bag, what I have done is I have kept 3 apples. I have kept 3 apples and I have kept 3 oranges. In a bag, what I have done is I have kept 3 apples and I have kept 3 oranges. मैंने एक बैग में 3 एप्पल डाल दिए, 3 ऑरेंज डाल दिए और मैंने उसको नहीं बताया बैग को. I haven't told the bag कि भाई ये एप्पल है कि ऑरेंज है. I didn't told the bag, I didn't tell the bag. मैंने while training the data set मैंने नहीं बताया बैग को कि is it a apple or it is a ऑरेंज. अब मैंने बोला कि भाई एक काम कर, यू ट्रेन. अब क्या कर, तू एक काम कर, तू ही ट्रेन कर अपने आप को, एंड बेस्ड ऑन द सिमिलैरिटी क्राइटेरियन ट्राई टू आइडेंटिफाई कि व्हाट इज दिस शेप एंड व्हाट इज दिस शेप. तो अब वो क्या करेगा, दिस मॉडल वुड बी ट्रेन्ड. ओके, अब ये क्या करेगा, एल्गोरिथम जो होगा, दिस मॉडल वुड बी ट्रेन्ड बेस्ड ऑन व्हाट, बेस्ड ऑन द सिमिलैरिटी क्राइटेरियन. ओके, बेस्ड ऑन द सिमिलैरिटी क्राइटेरियन. एंड जब प्रेडिक्शन की बारी आएगी, व्हेन this model has to predict, so what it would predict, that we have 2 categories of items in this bag. We have 2 categories of items in this bag. The first one is this one and the second one is this one. So this sort of training, This sort of training is known as unsupervised machine learning. For example, you are, you, me, okay, Uddhav, Lucky, yes, Veda, everyone is watching Netflix. Himanshu, Rajan, everyone is watching Netflix. But does Netflix know that your name is Ranjan and you want to watch horror movies? Does Amazon knows that your name is Ranjan and you are buying a t-shirt? No. What he knows that yes, one of the customer just served horror movies. Ab now what is his duty? The Amazon or Netflix duty is, bhai, just give him, recommend him more sort of these movies so that the profitability could be increased. Okay, so that the profitability of the Netflix could be increased. So that means there he is just surfing what he's exploring, what the similar items. Okay, so whenever this criteria is similarity, so there that unsupervised machine learning is very dominant. Okay, there the unsupervised machine learning is very dominant, and where the similarity criterion is there, and where the data is trained using the labeled data. Okay, model is trained using the labeled data. There the training criterion is different, and that comes under supervised machine learning. Okay, so basically what supervised machine learning is, while training the data is labeled. Okay, while training the model data is labeled. Data को पता है, मॉडल को पता है कि ये वाली शेप को हम हेक्सागन बोलते हैं, इस वाली शेप को हम स्क्वायर बोलते हैं, एंड दिस शेप वी कॉल दिस एज ट्रायंगल. ओके, मॉडल नोज इट. बट in case of unsupervised machine learning, model को पता ही नहीं है. Model doesn't know that this is known as apple, this is known as orange. What I did, I just put two categories of fruits inside the model to get trained, but I didn't tell model that this is orange and this is apple. Okay, similar to the Netflix recommendation system, Netflix doesn't know that Uddhav or Himanshu, okay, he is watching horror movies. He only knows that yes, a horror movie is watched by one of my customer. Now what is his duty? He would recommend those horror movies to Himanshu and Uddhav कि भाई ठीक है यार, मेरे को क्या फर्क पड़ता है, शर्मा देखे कि वर्मा देखे, भाई अपने को तो प्रॉफिट से मतलब है. I just want that my profit should be increased. So he would be actually giving you those similar movies, okay, so that you would watch more and they would get more profit, right? So that is what unsupervised learning is. Okay, so if I want to complete this table, so in case of unsupervised learning, what I would write? So in case of unsupervised learning, what I would write, that for example, I want to buy a black t-shirt. Buy a black t-shirt. So instead of going to Flipkart, where I would go? I would go to Google Lens. Okay, I would go to Google Lens, and on Google Lens, what I would do? I would just take a snapshot. Okay, take a snapshot of black t-shirt. Okay, take a snapshot of black t-shirt and post that black t-shirt on Google Lens. Okay, post that black t-shirt on Google Lens. अच्छा, अब when I would post that black t-shirt, अब यहाँ पर similarity criterion, अब यहाँ पर क्या होगा? Similarity criterion would be actually identified. और अब वो क्या करेगा? Now a bit of CNN is also used. I understand, a bit of CNN is also used. Okay, तो अब वो क्या करेगा? अब वहां पर वो क्या करेगा? He would actually search number of कि भाई हाँ यार ये तो टी शर्ट जैसा लग रहा है. CNN would tell us कि हाँ भैया ये ब्लैक टी शर्ट है. चलो अब क्या करेगा? He would actually search Amazon, Flipkart, number of things, and he would give us certain similar recommended items. वो certain similar recommended items डाल देगा और आपको दिखा देगा. तो दोनों ही केसेस में, in both the cases, what I am doing in both the cases, I am actually surfing what? I am surfing black t-shirt. In both the cases, I want to buy a black t-shirt. In both the cases, what I want to buy a black t-shirt. But what is the difference? Difference is here. The data is labeled. What is this? Without collar? What is this under rupees 500? What is this cotton? This is labeling of data. Okay, this is what? This is labeling of data. And is there any labeling here? भैया यहाँ तो कोई labeling ही नहीं है. यहाँ पे कोई labeling है? हमने क्या किया? I just took a snapshot. Okay, so that means no labeling of data. Okay, that means no labeling of data. तो I didn't labeled anything, I just put a snapshot. अब वो उसकी मॉडल की जिम्मेदारी है, मॉडल he would search for the similar items, कहाँ कहाँ में similar items है, and he would show you कि भैया ये मुझे मिला, if you want just buy it or just get lost, ऐसा करके वो आपको बोलेगा. ठीक है, करिए बेटा, इसे लिख लीजिए. I'll wait for a minute, पानी पी लूँ मैं, then उसके बाद we shall start with classification. Okay, yeah, विशाल will start with classification. इसके बाद classification and regression के बीच में difference. विशाल पीडीएफ यहीं पे आपको मिल जाएगा बेटा, इसी सेशन में ही अटैच्ड होगा, इसी सेशन के नीचे ना, इट वुड बी अटैच्ड. चलो, नाउ लेट अस स्टार्ट विद the regression and classification. Okay, now let us start with regression and classification. So basically, yeah, so now what exactly regression is and what exactly difference between regression and classification. Okay, so in regression the model gives output in a continuous value format. Okay, in regression the model gives output in a continuous value format. Okay, in regression the model gives output in a continuous value format. Okay, and in classification में क्या होता है, and in classification the model gives output in a discrete value or in a discrete format. Okay, in a discrete format. अब जैसे for example I'll just quote some examples. Okay, I'll just quote some examples. Okay, yeah, I'll just quote certain examples. Okay, now for example regression में, for example in regression the India winning chances against Pakistan is 69%. Okay, that we just saw. So that is a example, or that is a case where a regression model is dominant. Okay, where a regression model is dominant. तो मतलब if the chances of winning India against Pakistan is in a continuous value format, तो यहाँ पर that is a case where the that is the case of regression. Okay, that is the case of regression, क्योंकि यहाँ पर continuous value format में we are giving the answers. Okay, and if I just say in classification, if I just say who would win the match, if in the prediction I just want that who would win the match, India will win the match against Pakistan. Okay, against Pakistan. So that is an example of classification. Okay, because here we have discrete value format, मतलब either India or Pakistan. तो मतलब here categorical output is given. Okay, here categorical output is given. तो जहां पर continuous value format output is there, here continuous value format output is there. Okay, continuous value format output, तो वो क्या चीज हो गई, that is regression. Okay, and here the categorical value format output. Okay, categorical format output is there. Okay, categorical format output is there. Categorical format output is there. That is known as what? That is known as classification. Okay. Okay, yeah. Okay, so what does classification means? Classification means that prediction would be in terms of categories. भाई मैं आपसे ये पूछूं, if I just tell you who would win the match, India or Pakistan, what you would say? Ranjan, you would say that India would win the match. So basically prediction is in the terms of what? That is in the terms of what? In the categories. And if I just ask you what are the winning chances of India and Pakistan, you say, sir, India chances of winning are 69%. So that is a case of regression where you are giving the value in a continuous value format. Okay, where you are giving the value in a continuous value format. Okay, yeah. Yes, Veda, yeah, timings would be the same timings would be there every day 10 a.m. Okay, but the classes can go up to 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m. That depends on the syllabus. Okay, and your pace. Okay, yes, Gopal, this would be sufficient. Okay, I'll tell you the books as well, but this would be sufficient. Just don't worry. Yeah. Okay, now I would start with the regression part, and regression is divided. Now I would start with the regression part. Okay, and regression is divided into two types. That is simple linear regression. Okay, that is simple linear regression, and that is multiple linear regression. Okay, simple linear regression and multiple linear regression. Okay, now again I would be defining regression. Okay, now again I would be defining regression. Regression is also defined as a statistical technique used to model. Okay, again I would be defining it. It is defined as a statistical technique. Okay, it is defined as a statistical technique used to model. Okay, used to model what? Used to model the relationship. Used to model the relationship. Used to model the relationship between independent variable, between independent variable and dependent variable. Independent variable and dependent variable. Okay, independent variable and dependent variable. अब अगर if I ask you a certain question कि मुझे एक चीज बताओ that here what is the dependent variable? Okay, here what is the dependent variable? In case of this example, what is the dependent variable? That for example India and Pakistan are playing a match. Okay, So what is the dependent variable? What is y here? I can write y here as win predictor. Okay, I can write y here as win predictor. Okay, so this 69%, 31% is what? That is the dependent variable. That is known as what? That is the dependent variable. Win predictor is the dependent variable. And what could be the independent variable? And what could be the independent variable? We can have number of independent variables, right? We can have number of independent variables such as strike rate. Okay, matlab that depends. That depends. Now that is their research analysis. Okay, strike rate. Okay, how is the pitch? Okay, what are the playing 11, right? What are the playing 11? So that depends. मतलब वो फिर जो हो जाएगा, that is that is their R&D team. Okay, R&D team decides कि what could be the independent variables. But यहाँ पर क्या होगा? Who would win the match? Who would lose the match? That is win predictor. Okay, in this case, that is the that is the dependent variable, है ना? That is the dependent variable. Done. Okay. चलो अब यहाँ पे तो एज आई टोल्ड यू तो वी हैव रिग्रेशन ऑफ टू टाइप्स. तो रिग्रेशन इज सिंगल लीनियर रिग्रेशन एंड मल्टीपल लीनियर रिग्रेशन. तो सिंपल लीनियर रिग्रेशन हियर, सिंपल लीनियर रिग्रेशन okay, simple linear regression only one independent variable influences, only one independent variable influences the dependent variable. Okay, only one independent variable influences the dependent variable. Okay, and what is multiple linear regression? What is multiple linear regression? Okay, what is multiple linear regression? More than one independent variable, more than one independent variable, yeah, more than one independent variable influences the dependent variable. Okay, more than one independent variable influences the dependent variable. ठीक है, more than one independent variable influences the dependent variable. Okay, now let us start with the simple linear regression. Okay, my analysis for simple linear regression. So you just put the heading simple linear regression. Okay, for example, I want to model a machine learning model based on simple linear regression, and the data set that is given to me is, the value of x and y. Okay, when x is 0, y is 0. When x is 1, y is 2. When x is 2, y is 5. When x is 3, y is 9. when x is 4, y is 15, and when x is 5, y is 21. Okay, so I would try to draw the graph, and I would try to plot all these values. Okay, so on the x-axis, that is the dependent variable, independent variable. Okay, on the x-axis I have plotted what? The independent variable. Okay, the independent variable, and on the y-axis I am plotting the dependent variable. Okay, on the y-axis I am plotting the dependent variable, right? And the values would be, I'll start with 0, then yeah, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, and this is 5. Okay, and on the dependent variable I'll plot the values. Yeah, this is 5, okay, this is 10, then I have 15, then I have 20, and I have 25. Okay, so these are the values that I have plotted on the x and y axis. अब एक बार इसको plot करते हैं. Okay, I'll just plot it. So when x is 0, y is 0, that is my first point. Okay, then second point is when x is 1, y is 2. Okay, so this is my second point. Then third is when x is 2, y is 5. Okay, so this is my third point. Then x is 4, x is 3, yeah, y is 9. Okay, so y is 9, yeah, so y is 9. This is my third point. When x is 4, y is 15. Okay, when x is 4, y is 15, and when x is 5, y is 21. Okay, when x is 5, y is 21. So this is my fifth point. Okay, so I have plotted, for example, this is the data set that has been given to me. Okay, this is the data set that has been given to me, and I have plotted, okay, I have plotted these points here. Okay, I have plotted all these points here. Now what I want to do is I want to fit this linear regression model. अब मुझे क्या करना है? I want to fit this linear regression model. Okay, what I want to do is I want to fit a linear regression model. Okay, a simple linear regression model. So while fitting, this could be one of the simple linear regression model. I mean, this could be one of the best fit that I can do, है ना? This could be one of the best fit that I can do. So I have fitted this linear regression model here. अच्छा, अब this is the simple linear regression model, and what would be the shape of that, और मतलब किस form का होगा? तो that would be of the form y hat equals to mx plus c. Okay, so this is the equation of the simple linear regression model that I have fitted. So I can just write, so what is the equation? I can just write, so this could be of the equation y hat equals to mx plus c. Okay, so this is the form that I have written. Okay, इस form का मैंने simple linear regression model को fit कर दिया. ठीक है, अच्छा, अब मैं इससे prediction जानना चाहता हूँ. Okay, now I want to make prediction. So for prediction I am using the variable y hat. Okay, अब now I want to make the prediction out of this. अच्छा, when x is equals to 0, then I have seen that x is also, y hat is also equals to 0. Okay, while fitting the model, it started from this point. तो जब x 0 था, तो this is given. Okay, this I can see, this I can predict that y hat is also equals to 0. चलो, अच्छी बात है. अब इसके बाद when x is equals to 1. Okay, इसके बाद जब x is equals to 1, तो what is y hat? Y hat is equals to somewhere around 6. Okay, y hat is somewhere equal to around 6. When x is equals to 2, y hat is around somewhere around 9. Okay, so this is the prediction. That is the prediction out of this, no? That is the prediction out of this. Then when x is equals to 3, so y hat is around 13. Okay, y hat is around 13. When x is equals to 4, then yeah, y hat is around 15. Okay, when x is equals to 4, yeah, y hat is around 16. Okay, I can just write 16. And when x is equals to 5, so y hat is around 20. Okay, when x is equals to 5, then y hat is around 20. Now what I would do is I would be calculating the error. अब मैं क्या करूंगा, अब मैं निकालूंगा एरर एट ईच एंड एवरी पॉइंट. ओके, नाउ व्हाट आई वुड डू इज आई वुड बी कैलकुलेटिंग द एरर एट ईच एंड एवरी पॉइंट. ठीक है, तो व्हाट इज द एरर एट फर्स्ट पॉइंट? ओके, हाउ एरर इज डिफाइंड? एरर इज डिफाइंड एज y minus y hat. This is how I have defined the error. So error at first point is 0. Okay, error at first point is 0. And now error at second point. What is the error at second point? That is 4. What is the error at third point? Again that is 4. Okay, and I have to take it with sign. Okay, so this is minus 4, this is minus 4, then 9 minus 13, again error is minus 4, then 15 minus 16, error is minus 1, and here error is positive 1. Okay, here error is positive 1. Okay, फोर्थ में दैट इज बिट अबव, मतलब इसका जो प्रेडिक्शन है दैट इज बिट अबव. तो फोर्थ में जो है ये 16 आ रहा है, इसका प्रेडिक्शन इज कमिंग एज 16. ओके, x इक्वल्स टू 4, y हैट इज 16. ओके, करेक्ट. तो अब यहां पर जो एरर आया दैट आई हैव कैलकुलेटेड. नाउ व्हाट आई वुड डू इज आई वुड बी समिंग अप ऑल दी एरर्स. अब मैं क्या करूंगा, मैं इन सभी एरर्स को सम करूंगा. तो एरर हाउ इट इज डिफाइंड? एरर इज डिफाइंड एज i इक्वल्स टू 1 to n y माइनस वाई हैट. इस तरीके से लीनियर रिग्रेशन के एरर को डिफाइन करते हैं. ओके, तो एरर इज डिफाइंड एज y minus y hat and summation all over the data points. Okay, over all the data points, and that would be coming as what? 0 plus minus 4 plus minus 4, okay, plus minus 1 and plus 1. Okay, so this would be how much? So this would be minus 8. Okay, so this would be how much? This minus 4, yeah, so I'll be having one more minus 1, no, minus 4, yes. Okay, plus minus 4, yeah, plus minus 1. So I would be getting an error of 12. Okay, so I would be getting an error of minus 12. Okay, so अगर हमको यही चीज, if we want to see this, visualize this on the graph, तो what is the error? इसको हम बोलेंगे error. Okay, what is the error? इसको हम बोलेंगे error. Okay, what is the error? इसको हम बोलेंगे error. तो this is the error. Okay, this is known as error and this is known as error, right? इसको भी हम बोलेंगे error. तो this is nothing that is known as error in case of simple linear regression. Okay, अब what is the goal? Now what is the goal in case of simple linear regression? What is the goal? Our goal in case of simple linear regression, our goal is to find the best fit line. Okay, our goal is, so what is the goal of simple linear regression? Our goal is to find the best fit line. Okay, to find the best fit line, to find the best fit line that minimizes the error. That is the goal of simple linear regression or regression. Okay, that minimizes the error. Okay, so this is the goal of what? Goal of a linear regression model. Okay, goal of linear regression. So this is basically the goal. हमको क्या करना है? We need to find the best fit line that minimizes the error. Okay, that minimizes the error. आपको ऐसी अब लाइन निकालनी है that should minimize the error. Okay, so this is the basic, बिल्कुल the basics of linear regression, how a model is fitted. अब how a model is fitted that I'll tell you. आपने ये m कैसे निकाला, how you calculated this m, how you calculated this c, I would tell you, but this is how in a graphical approach the error looks like. Okay, this is how in a graphical approach the error looks like. और इसी error को मुझे कम करना होता है, और इसी error को मुझे कम करना होता है. ओके, चलिए नाउ देर आर सर्टेन एजम्पशंस, ठीक है, आप ऐसा नहीं कि कभी भी किसी को भी फिट कर सकते हो, देर आर सर्टेन एजम्पशंस. अच्छा, अब इससे पहले दिस M and C, तो आई वुड जस्ट लाइक टू राइट हियर दिस M and C, here M and C are generated, M and C are generated based on the historical data. Okay, M or C are generated based on historical data. ठीक है, ये जो M और जो C है, these are generated based on historical data. तो भाई एक बात ये बताओ, जितना accurate data होगा, जितना accurate the data that would be accurate, okay, the more accurate the data is, the more good your prediction would be. That is why ये आपने पोजीशंस देखी होंगी डेटा इंजीनियर की. आई होप आपने शायद ये पोजीशन का नाम सुना होगा. आई होप यू मस्ट हैव हर्ड ऑफ दिस पोजीशन, डेटा इंजीनियर. आई होप यू मस्ट हैव हर्ड रिगार्डिंग दिस पोजीशन, डेटा इंजीनियर. लिंक्डइन पे बहुत सारी पोजीशंस आती हैं. तो व्हाट इज द मेजर वर्क ऑफ दिस? द मेजर वर्क ऑफ दिस इज to clean the data. Okay, that is why these positions are very important nowadays. Okay, so the major work of this is to clean the data, right? To clean the data. So that is why the more accurate, the more cleaned the data is, okay, the more good the prediction would be. Okay, the more clean the data is, more good the prediction would be. Okay, chaliye. Ab now here are certain assumptions. Okay, here are certain assumptions. Right, here are certain assumptions that okay, now we have certain assumptions in linear regression. ऐसा नहीं कि कहीं भी आपको डेटा दिखा and you just fit a linear regression model. No, that is not the case. There are certain assumptions before fitting a linear regression model. You should be clear. Okay, मतलब this is not the thing आपने you just saw a data, आपने you just pick up the data and you just you just fitted a linear regression model. No, that is wrong. Okay, अब now there are certain assumptions for fitting a linear regression model. Okay, so number of questions comes on these assumptions. So first assumption is that linearity of data should be dominant. Okay, linearity of the data, that should be dominant, right? Yeah, linearity of data should be there in the data set. Okay, linearity of data should be there. What exactly linearity means? Either x should be proportional to y. Okay, either x should be proportional to, x should be proportional to y. This exactly what linearity means. Okay, this is what linearity means, ki x should be proportional to y. Okay, x should be proportional to y. ऐसा ना हो कि for example this shouldn't be the case. For example, you have x variable, okay, and you have y variable, and the data that has been plotted is in this way. अगर कुछ ऐसा डेटा हुआ, do you think that you can fit a linear regression model? Do you think that you can fit a linear regression model if this is the data that is given to you? Now do you think that you can fit a linear regression model? Not at all. आप कर ही नहीं सकते. You can't fit a linear regression model because that is a non-linear data. आप कैसे भी कर लो, आप कैसे भी fit करके देख लो, you won't be able to fit the linear regression model here. Okay, because here linearity is not prevalent. Okay, that is not dominant here. It is a non-linear data. Okay, so x should be proportional to y. Okay, x should be proportional to y. Okay, then the second assumption that you have to remember is homoscedasticity. Okay, very important. The second assumption that you have to remember, that is homoscedasticity. I'll just tell you what exactly this means is, homoscedasticity. Okay, the data should be homoscedastic. That means error terms should have a constant variance. Okay, error terms should have a constant वेरिएंस, आई जस्ट टेल यू व्हाट डज दैट मीन. अब देखो, ऐसा ना हो, ऐसा ना हो, ऐसा ना हो. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, इफ यू make a residual graph, this is what this is known as residual analysis, very important in terms of linear regression. In case of linear regression, very important. Okay, so this is what, this is the residual analysis, matlab error terms. Okay, this is the error terms and this is x. Okay, so I am just making a graph between x and error terms. तो ऐसा ना हो कि if I am increasing x, if I am increasing x, the error terms should increase or decrease. Okay, this shouldn't be the case. If I'm increasing x, the error term should increase or decrease. ऐसा ना हो कि if this is the case, okay, if I'm increasing x, the error terms should increase or decrease. ठीक है, अगर if this is the case, that means the data is heteroscedastic. Okay, so this shouldn't be the case. So this is a heteroscedastic data. Okay, this is known as heteroscedasticity. ओके, हेट्रोस्केडास्टिक मतलब, इसका मतलब क्या आ रहा है कि एरर टर्म्स आर फॉलोइंग अ ट्रेंड. भैया ऐसा है कि एरर टर्म्स जो है दे आर फॉलोइंग अ ट्रेंड, मतलब कि व्हेन द मैचेस, फॉर एग्जांपल व्हेन द मैच बिटवीन इंडिया एंड पाकिस्तान वर प्लेड बिटवीन 2009 to 2015, their error terms were okay, but when I'm increasing the year, no, when matches are played between 2015 to 23, their error terms are increasing. So why so? So that means there is a heteroscedasticity in the data. That means errors are increasing. Okay, errors are increasing when I'm increasing the value of x. A very simple example, कुछ भी नहीं, बहुत simple है कि for example I have a prediction data, I have a prediction data, ठीक है, मेरे पास एक data है ना, and I want to do prediction, but I just saw that on the data when I'm increasing x, the error terms are following a trend. That is wrong, वो नहीं होना चाहिए. तो अगर ऐसा है, for example, if the graph is this way, if the graph is this, for example, yeah, this is x, okay, this is x and these are the error terms. अगर इस तरीके से graph is model, for example, this is the error terms. Okay, for example, this is the error terms, मतलब we have an approximate constant variance. ऐसा नहीं हो कि if I'm increasing x, the errors are increasing. That is wrong. If I'm increasing x, the errors are decreasing. That is wrong. Okay, that is a heteroscedastic. Okay, that is a heteroscedastic nature. So that means कि whenever you मतलब you have to model a graph between error and independent variable. Okay, so whenever the independent variable increases, the error terms shouldn't follow any trend. That is the meaning of, yeah, that is the meaning of homoscedasticity. बस ये मतलब होता है. जैसे मान लीजिए कि you are playing a match. Okay, number of matches have been played between India and Pakistan. Okay, so till 2000, from 2000 to 2010, error was less, but after 2010, when 11, 12, 13, 14, in these years, errors are continuously increasing. That means there is certain problem after 2010. So that means the data is heteroscedastic. Okay, so matlab error terms shouldn't follow any trend. That is the basic, that is the meaning of the homoscedasticity. Okay, that is the meaning of the homoscedasticity. मतलब error terms should have a constant variance. So this data, अब यहाँ पर here variance is constant, almost variance constant, मतलब error जितना नीचे गया है, error उतना ऊपर भी गया है. Okay, the error that has gone downward, the similarly error has gone upward. मतलब कि the error terms doesn't have any trend here. Okay, error terms doesn't have any trend here. So that is the second meaning. Okay, that is the meaning of homoscedasticity. Okay, that is the meaning of homoscedasticity, that error terms shouldn't follow a trend, increasing or decreasing. So they should have almost a constant variance. So this data is homoscedastic in nature. Okay, so this is known as residual analysis. Whenever you fit any linear regression data, every time you do this residual analysis, जब भी आप fit करते हो linear regression data को, हमेशा every time you do this residual analysis. Okay, the first assumption was that linearity of the data should be there, and the second assumption was that the homoscedastic nature should be there. Okay, and the third assumption is that error terms are independent of each other. Okay, so third assumption, homoscedasticity से derived है, from here itself it is derived, that error terms should be independent of each other. Okay, error terms should be independent of each other. Okay, and yeah, from third point it is derived. Okay, now fourth point, fourth assumption is that mean of the residual errors should be 0. Okay, error terms should be normally distributed. So error terms should be normally distributed. Okay, error terms should be normally distributed. A normal distribution should be there in the error terms. Okay, that means mean of residuals. Okay, mean of residuals जो होगा that should be 0. Okay, mean of residuals should be equals to 0. Okay, mean of residual should be equal to 0. And what is the residual? What is the residual? Residual is what? Residual is the difference between y minus y hat. For example, yeah, this is y, this is x. Okay, for example, this is y, this is x, and these are the points. Okay, and based on this I fitted a line, and based on this I fitted a line. तो these are the residuals. इसको हम residuals भी बोलते हैं. Okay, इसको हम residuals भी बोलते हैं. Okay, इसको हम residuals भी बोलते हैं. तो mean of the residuals that should be equals to 0. Okay, so this is the assumption that we assume. Yeah, okay, that is the assumption that we assume. Yeah, the third one is error should be independent of each other. It is derived from this only. From second only it has been derived that there shouldn't be any trend in the error terms. Okay, there shouldn't be any trend in the error terms. Okay, and fourth is error should be normally distributed. A normal distribution should be there. Okay, and the last one is the last assumption. Okay, the last assumption is that there should be no multicollinearity. Okay, there should be no multicollinearity. Okay, there should be no multicollinearity. Matlab the independent terms should not be related to each other. Okay, the independent terms, independent variables should be independent. Okay, the independent terms should not have any relation. Okay, independent terms should not have any relation. Okay, for example जैसे मान लीजिए कि for example जैसे मान लीजिए कि I am making a data set. Okay, for example मान लीजिए कि I am making a data set and I want to fit a multiple linear regression model. ठीक है, I want to fit a multiple linear regression model to make a win predictor. ठीक है, to make a win predictor. मान लीजिए कि मुझे एक win predictor बनाना है and I want to make a multiple linear regression model. Okay, now for example my first variable is strike rate, my second variable is how pitch is behaving. For example, my third independent variable is that players have done breakfast or not. Okay, players have done breakfast or not. Okay, players have done breakfast or not. अबे एक चीज बताओ भाई, that is just an absurd, this is just an absurd variable. No, ये वाला जो variable है, this is just an absurd variable. इसकी जरूरत ही क्या है? If Rohit Sharma is hitting sixes, that means भाई he has done breakfast. Okay, तो that means यहाँ पर here multicollinearity exists. Okay, that means यहाँ पर here multicollinearity exists. Okay, that means यहाँ पर here multicollinearity exists. So this is what? This is a multicollinear variable. ठीक है, मल्टी कोलिनियर वेरिएबल, दैट इज अ रिडंडेंट वेरिएबल. कि अगर मान लीजिए इफ आई एम टेकिंग एनी एब्सर्ड वेरिएबल, फॉर एग्जांपल या कि हैव प्लेयर्स हैव डन ब्रेकफास्ट और नॉट, तो दैट इज ऑलरेडी डिपेंडेंट ऑन दिस. नो, अगर स्ट्राइक रेट अच्छा चल रहा है तो दैट मीन्स प्लेयर्स हैव डन ब्रेकफास्ट. ओके, फॉर एग्जांपल आई टेक नंबर ऑफ सिक्सेस एज द नंबर ऑफ सिक्सेस, नंबर ऑफ फोर्स एज द वन ऑफ द प्रेडिक्टर्स. अब एक चीज बताओ, दिस प्लेयर्स हैव डन ब्रेकफास्ट और नॉट, दैट इज already related to this sixes and fours ना. अगर रोहित शर्मा is hitting six, छक्के मार रहा है, तो that means भाई ब्रेकफास्ट करके ही आया होगा ना यार. तो that is what this multicollinearity means. मतलब the independent variables should be free from each other. Okay, independent variables should be free. There shouldn't be any relation between the independent variables. Okay, so this is how the assumptions have to be followed before applying any linear regression model. ऐसा नहीं करना कि भैया मैंने डेटा देखा और सीधा मैंने क्या किया कि वो linear regression model fit मार दिया. ना, that is wrong. This is not the case that you just saw the data and I fitted a linear regression model. That is wrong. You first have to analyze the data. और इसी को हम क्या बोलते हैं? We call it as EDA. I think आपने word सुना होगा. I think you must have heard that word EDA. What does that mean? Yes, I need full form for your side. What is the full form of EDA? Yeah, full form of EDA. I need answer from your side. Full form of EDA. I hope you must have heard that word EDA. Yes, EDA means exploratory data analysis. That is why EDA is very important. Okay, तो EDA मतलब क्या होता है? Exploratory data analysis. Okay, exploratory data analysis. That is what EDA means. Exploratory data analysis. Okay, that is what EDA means. That is why EDA is done every time. Okay, before that is why EDA is done every time. ऐसा नहीं कि आपने डेटा देखा और आपने लगा दिया. Okay, exploratory data analysis is always done before applying any model. So you just have to see what is the relationship or how data is behaving. Correct, you have to see how data is behaving. That is why, yeah, that is why exploratory data analysis is done every time. Okay, so these are the assumptions that you have to follow before fitting a linear regression model. Okay, चलिए, तो yeah, so I'll just show you one of the animations. What exactly fitting of the model looks like. So this is the animation, you just see it. Okay, please see this. So this is the animation of how the linear regression model fitting looks like. Okay, so this is the animation of how linear regression model fitting looks like. Okay, so you can just see that is the OLS method, that is known as ordinary least square method. We'll be doing it today itself, we'll be doing it. Okay, but this is the ordinary least square method, but this is how a model fitting looks like. What are these blue points? These blue points are the data set. Okay, these blue points are the data set, right? This is the data, these are the samples. Okay, these are the samples that are given to us. And what is this red line? What is this red line? Red line is the fitted model. Okay, that is the best fit model that is fitted. And what is the goal of linear regression? That after number of iterations the error should be decreased. Okay, and what is the goal of the linear regression model? After number of iterations the error should decrease. That is the goal of linear regression. Okay, that is the goal of linear regression. और ये होता है, this is how the animation of fitting of the model looks like. So every time you fit it and you try to minimize the error. So one of the methods to minimize the error is gradient descent. I hope आपने शायद नाम सुना होगा. You must have heard the name gradient descent. तो उसको हम use करते हैं. We have number of methods. Okay, we have number of methods. So one of the very effective method is gradient descent method. तो उसको हम use करके every time after every iteration we try to minimize the error. Okay, we try to minimize the error. Okay, chaliye. Now let us focus on the numerical part. Okay, now let us focus on the numerical part. So you have studied what exactly linear regression model is, what is simple linear regression, what are the assumptions. Now question may come from this performance metrics of linear regression. Okay, question may come from the performance metrics of this linear regression. Okay, so the first method the first performance metrics to judge whether your model is a good one or a bad one is R square measure. Okay, that is known as R square. Okay, that is known as R square. Yeah, that is known as R square. It is known as coefficient of determination. Okay, that is known as coefficient of determination. Okay, that is known as coefficient of determination. So how that is defined? That is defined as, yeah, so R square, here only I'll write R square is defined as 1 minus summation of I equals to 1 to n y minus y hat whole square. Okay, y minus y hat whole square divided by summation of I equals to 1 to n y minus yr whole square. Okay, so this is how the coefficient of determination is defined. Okay, this is how the coefficient of determination is defined, where what is n? N is the number of data points. Okay, where what is n? N is the number of data points. What is y? Y is the actual output. What is y hat? Y hat is the predicted output. What is y bar? Y bar is the mean of the actual output. ठीक है, तो first one is coefficient of determination. Okay, then second is adjusted R square. I'll just write the definition. Acha, what is the range of R square? The range of R square is between 0 to 1. Okay, the range of R square, that is between 0 to 1. If R square is 0, that means errors are more. Okay, if R square is 0, more errors, that means bad prediction. More number of error, that means bad prediction. If R square is close to 1, less errors. Okay, less errors, good prediction. Less errors, good prediction. Okay, then we have second is adjusted R square, and adjusted R square, yeah, adjusted R square can be written as 1 minus R square minus 1 into n minus 1 n minus k minus 1. Yeah, okay, n minus k minus 1, this is known as adjusted R square. Okay, everything is same, but only, yeah, one thing is, okay, and one thing that is given, k is the input attributes present in the data set. I'll just tell you what exactly k means. Okay, so what is k? K is the input data set dimensions. Okay, input dimensions. What is k? K is known as input dimensions. Okay, k is known as input dimensions. Up now I'll tell you what exactly input dimensions means. Okay, so for example, I have independent variables as x1, x2, x3, x4, and this is the actual output. Okay, so here this is n. Okay, and what are the input dimensions? What are the input dimensions? Input dimensions are, how many input dimensions are? 4. Okay, so this is an input dimension. Okay, this is an input dimension, this is an input dimension, and this is the input dimensions. Okay, and input dimensions are also known as attributes. Okay, input dimensions are also known as attributes, या फिर input dimensions को हम क्या बोल सकते हैं, variables. Okay, input dimensions are also known as variables. So either attributes or variables, either input dimensions, attributes, variables. Okay, so all these things could be written, right? So I would just like to make you sure that what is adjusted r square, that is 1 minus, and in the bracket r square minus 1 into n minus 1 upon n minus k minus 1. And what is k? K is the input dimensions. Okay, हाँ, तो अब दैट देखो ये काम होता है डेटा इंजीनियर का. ओके, न्यूज बस्टर, दैट इज द केस ऑफ डेटा इंजीनियर, मतलब कि ही हैज टू क्लीन द डेटा. तो इन द क्वेश्चन द डायमेंशंस दैट यू वुड बी गिवन, दैट आर द करेक्ट वन दैट यू हैव टू टेक. ओके, तो फॉर गेट द डेटा सेट विच हैज ऑल द डायमेंशंस, यू हैव टू टेक एज इट इज. ओके, डन. Okay, then the third one, the third performance matrix is MSC. Okay, what is MSC? That is known as mean square error. Okay, what is MSC? That is known as mean square error. And how that is defined? That is defined as summation of I equals to 1 to n y minus y hat whole square whole divided by n. Everything you know. What is y? You know what is y hat, you know what is n, that also you know. Then fourth is root mean square error, that is known as RMSC. Okay, very important, root mean square error, that is known as RMSC. That is known as RMSC, under root of MSC. That is defined as RMSC. Then fifth one is mean absolute error. Okay, the fifth one is mean absolute error. Okay, the fifth one is mean absolute error, that is defined as the summation of I equals to 1 to n yi minus yi hat by n and mod of this. Okay, and just put a I over here also. I just forgot to write I. Okay, just put I over here also. Okay, I just forgot to write I. Yeah, I is I is also written as yi minus yi hat whole square, right? Yes. Okay, and the last one is MAPE. The last one is MAPE. MAPE means what? MAPE means mean absolute percentage error. Okay, that is mean absolute percentage error, that is MAE into 100. Okay, MAE into 100, mean absolute percentage error, that is MAE into 100. Okay, so I have to write I here. Okay, so just add I here. Okay, and here also we have to add I here. So just I forgot to write I here also, you have to write I. Okay, so please write I. Yes, yes. So we would be having PYQs also, है ना? Yes, yeah, yes. Ranjan, I'll be just discussing, yeah, discussing more on R square. Okay, so you please write it. I'll be discussing more on R square. Okay, now if we just see more on R square value, okay, what exactly R square value tells us, you know the formula. Okay, so what exactly R square value tells us? So basically, if I just draw a graph between independent variable and dependent variable, and these are certain points, okay, these are certain points, and this is the best fit line. Okay, this is y hat equals to mx plus c. Okay, this is y hat equals to mx plus c. So this is known as the residual part. ठीक है, इसको हम क्या बोलते हैं? इसको हम बोलते हैं रेसिडुअल पार्ट. दिस इज द रेसिडुअल एट एवरी पॉइंट. ओके, अच्छा, एंड हियर आई वुड ड्रॉ वन मोर लाइन, and here I would draw one more line, that is y bar. Okay, that is y bar. Okay, so R square can also be defined as, okay, R square can also be defined as the ratio of 1 minus residual sum of squares upon total sum of squares, where what is residual sum of squares? That is defined as summation of I equals to 1 to n. Okay, summation of I equals to 1 to n error square. Okay, error square. That means this would be even square. What is even here? This is 0.1, this is, for example, this is 0.2, this is 0.3, this is 0.4, this is 0.5. Even square plus e2 square plus e3 square plus e4 square plus e5 square. Okay, so this is the error, right? That is the error. Okay, and what exactly error means? Error is nothing, that is y1 minus y1 hat whole square, that is y2 minus y2 hat whole square, that is y3 minus y3 hat whole square, till where? Till y5 minus y5 hat whole square. बस ये क्या हो गया? This is known as residual sum of square. Okay, and what is total sum of square? Total sum of square is defined as summation of I equals to 1 to n yi minus y bar whole square. That means y1 minus y bar whole square, y2 minus y bar whole square, okay, y3 minus y bar whole square, till where? Till y5 minus, yeah, y5 minus y bar whole square. बस ठीक है. तो this is how RSS and TSS are defined. ठीक है, and where what is y bar? I would just like to model y bar. तो y bar क्या है यहाँ पे? Y bar is nothing, y1 plus y2 plus y3 plus y4 plus y5, this whole divided by n. This is known as y bar. Okay, this is known as y bar. तो अब अगर ग्राफिकली देखना हो तो it is also defined as goodness of fit. इसको हम क्या बोलते हैं? इसको हम goodness of fit भी बोलते हैं. Okay, अब ग्राफिकली देखना हो, if for example if r square is 1, okay, I'll just draw 3 graphs. For example, if r square is 1, okay, a graph between x and y. Second graph I would draw, between x and y, where r square is 0.7. And third graph I would draw between Third graph I would draw between where r square is 0.1. So what is the difference between all these three graphs? Here, for example, if this is the best fit line, if this is the best fit line, that means every point has been accurately plotted. Okay, every point has been accurately plotted. Okay, if r square is less than 0.1, that means there are certain errors. Errors are there, but errors are less. Okay, there are certain errors. Okay, and if r square value, yeah, if r square is 0.1, so that means errors are very high. Okay, errors are very high. Okay, so that means errors are very high. And what is this? Yeah, this is what? This is y hat equals to mx plus c. This is what? Again, this is y hat equals to mx plus c. This is what? This is again y hat equals to mx plus c. तो this is known as goodness of fit. इसको हम क्या बोलते हैं? Goodness of fit भी बोलते हैं. ठीक है, इसको हम क्या बोलते हैं? Goodness of fit भी बोलते हैं. तो more the r square, more accurate the prediction is. Okay, more the value of r square. Okay, more the value of r square. Okay, more the prediction is. Okay, prediction. So prediction would be good. Okay, when r square is more. So practically, see, r square equals to 1, that is not possible, no? And practically we can't have r square equals to 1. Okay, but yes, r square should be close to 1, है ना? R square should be close to 1. Okay, r square should be close to 1. Okay, and we have one more coefficient, that is Pearson correlation coefficient. Okay, we have one more coefficient. Yeah, that is Pearson correlation coefficient. Okay, so we have one more coefficient. Yeah, that is Pearson correlation coefficient. Pearson correlation coefficient, and that is defined as small r. Okay, that is defined as small r. So it indicates that how two variables are correlated. Okay, it indicates how two variables are correlated. Okay, it indicates how two variables, okay, how two variables are correlated. Okay, it indicates how two variables are correlated. Okay, how two variables are correlated. So I would just give you the formula for this. ओके तो आप लिख लीजिए, आई वुड जस्ट गिव यू दी फॉर्मूला. तो बेटा देखो, यू हैव टू रिमेंबर, इसका तरीका एक ही है याद करने का, कि जस्ट सिट विद सर्टेन A4 sheet papers with you, okay, and write all the formulas, important concepts which you feel like writing before going to bed. Okay, just give 10 minutes to yourself, extra 10 minutes, and please revise all these things. That is only the way to remember. Okay, because time is less. I hope you are getting this, है ना? Because time is less, so better you just go there and just write all the formulas there, है ना? And just before going to bed or whenever you are traveling, कहीं पे आप travel कर रहे हो, तो just keep those papers handy और बस बेटा आप उसको revise कर लो. So that is one of the things that you can, okay, that is how you can revise it. Yes, yeah, Michael, yeah, that is, I mean, see, these sessions, no, you would gain something out of it. That is my guarantee. Bacha, you would give something out of it. That is my guarantee. But you do it wholeheartedly, है ना? So you do it wholeheartedly. Yes, you will gain something out of it. Okay, chalo. And now what is the formula for Pearson correlation coefficient? Okay, Pearson correlation coefficient formula is summation of I equals to 1 to n. Okay, summation of I equals to 1 to n xi minus x bar. Okay, xi minus x bar into yi minus y bar. Xi minus x bar into yi minus y bar. Okay, xi minus x bar into yi minus y bar upon under root of summation of I equals to 1 to n x minus x bar whole square. Okay, xi, yeah, xi minus x bar whole square y bar whole square. This is the formula for Pearson correlation coefficient. Okay, this is the formula for Pearson correlation coefficient. Okay, this is the formula for Pearson correlation coefficient. Everything you know, right? Everything you know. हाँ बेटा, 5 more minutes for today. I'll just summarize this session at 12. Okay, so for today I'll just summarize this session till 12. From tomorrow I would be extending it 1 hour more. Okay, so I can take 3 hour session tomorrow. Okay, then gradually we'll take 3 hours 4 hour session. Okay, so this is how I would proceed. For today it will be from 10 to 12, right? I'll just summarize it after 5 minutes. Okay, so the range of R is -1 to 1. Okay, the range of R is between -1 to 1. तो आपको अगर if you want to see what exactly R0 means, okay, if you want to see what exactly R0 means, what exactly R positive means and what exactly R negative means. तो आप देखो, here R positive, okay, here R negative, and here R equals to 0. So what exactly this means is, so this means that on increasing x, the value of x is also getting increased. Okay, our trend is, I mean, how x and y are correlated, on increasing x. These are what? These are the data points. On increasing x, the y value is also increasing. That means the correlation coefficient, okay, the Pearson correlation coefficient is positive in nature. Okay, the Pearson correlation coefficient is positive in nature. Okay, and what R negative means? This is what R negative means, that on increasing the value of x, the value of y is decreasing, and average and overall decrease is noticed. Okay, so this is what R negative means. And what are these points? What are these red points? ये data set है बेटा. What is this? These are data points. I hope आप समझ पा रहे हैं यहाँ पे. These are data points. Okay, on increasing the x value, the y value increases. On increasing the x value, the overall dip is there in the y value. And what is R equals to 0? That means there is no correlation coefficient. Matlab, this is randomly the points are scattered. Okay, randomly the points are scattered. There is no correlation. Randomly the points are scattered. Okay, and one more thing you can remember for simple linear regression. Okay, a very good formula, just note it. Okay, note kariye, for simple linear regression, the value of R square is equals to small r square. Coefficient of determination is equal to square of Pearson correlation coefficient. Okay, so just note this in the formula sheet, just note it. Okay, so in the formula sheet, just note it. यस उद्धव, आर स्क्वायर के फॉर्मूले में मिस्टेक है. आई जस्ट सी बेटा, आई जस्ट सी. दिस इज कोएफिशिएंट ऑफ डिटर्मिनेशन, नो? या आई थिंक दिस इज करेक्ट. एडजस्टेड आर स्क्वायर वाला. या 1 माइनस आर स्क्वायर. अच्छा 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 अच्छा, हाँ ठीक है ठीक है ठीक है. या दिस वुड बी 1 माइनस आर स्क्वायर. करेक्ट 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 करेक्ट. प्लीज चेंज दिस. या यू आर करेक्ट. दिस इज 1 माइनस आर स्क्वायर. करेक्ट. This is 1 minus r square. You are correct. Okay. So this actually this r square minus 1 would give us a negative value. Correct. That is 1 minus r square. Okay. So please change this. Okay. Please everyone. Yeah. Please everyone. Please everyone change this. This is 1 minus r square into n minus 1 upon n minus k minus 1. है ना? Done. 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 ठीक है. चलिए, तो फॉर टुडे आई विल एंड दी सेशन. ओके, फॉर टुडे आई विल एंड दी सेशन. वील मीट टुमारो अगेन at 10 AM and I would continue the class. Okay, I'll extend the class 1 more hour. Okay, so we can have a class of around 3 hours tomorrow. ठीक है, तो चलिए, let us meet tomorrow. Thank you so much and just make notes of it and I'll upload the PDF also. Okay, चलो, thank you so much.